every time I walk into a grocery store and I see all of that fruit and all of those vegetables, I'm like, thank God for bees, because if they weren't here, we would not have that.
That has been like a motto ever since 1,000 Faces started, is taking care of the earth that, grows this coffee for us.
So my daughter, who's 10, has asthma, and when a diesel bus drives by, she immediately knows it.
And one of the big concerns the public has is the safety of their drinking water.
I'm Eric Tiongson.
And I'm CG Sigmund.
Welcome to A Search for Solutions,
where we present solutions to problems that affect the water we drink, the air we breathe, and the energy we use.
These stakes couldn't be higher, impacting the smallest members of the Athens community to its biggest movers and shakers.
We will look at solving issues ranging from the threat to pollinators, sustainable coffee options, and what to do with your leftover food scraps.
Yeah, as well as slashing your energy bill with solar energy, taking electric buses to ease air pollution, and how to avoid drugs in your drinking water.
We're buzzing with excitement to jump into our show.
Yeah, we sure are. We're going to begin with efforts in Northeast Georgia to protect our food supply.
Invasive species are jeopardizing our pollinators. However, local beekeepers are staying educated to keep these tiny creatures protected.
From pollination to plate, you have little buzzing friends to thank for the fruits and vegetables that you eat.
They're one of the very few creatures you can keep that you don't have to feed. They actually feed you. So,
from pollination to plate, bees play an irreplaceable role in food production. Without pollinators, we lack diverse fruits, vegetables, and flowers, which are all essential to our economy and livelihoods.
And every time I walk into a grocery store and I see all of that fruit and all of those vegetables, I'm like, thank God for bees, because if they weren't here, we would not have that.
UGA Honeybee Program Line Manager Jennifer Berry says that bees are one of the primary pollinators when it comes to fruits and vegetables, making them one of the main reasons for our colorful diet. From raising small bee colonies for farmers to purchase in the spring to selling honey at markets, over the past 18 years, Abby's Apiary has contributed to the bridging gap in food trust and transparency.
a lot of beekeepers that I sell to, a byproduct is honey, but they're more interested in the pollination aspect. They've got a garden or something like that they want to just make sure the flowers get pollinated.
David Hutchinson, founder of Abby's Apiary, says there's actually quite a few concerns when it comes to beekeeping and bee farming, especially when it comes to protecting them from harm.
The challenges with beekeeping is just staying knowledgeable as to what is happening with new diseases or pests.
Jennifer Berry says that invasive species and pests pose a threat to honeybees and other pollinators alike, since they have no natural predators.
When invasives come into the U.S. or come into a foreign country, the problem is there's usually no natural pests to eat it or control, natural controls. So their populations can expand and explode, and they can bring in diseases.
That doesn't keep Hutchinson down. He believes that staying well-informed and up-to-date on research helps him protect his bees and his honey, and with the help of his son, can he continue doing so.
A rewarding hobby. It doesn't take a lot of investment or time. You kind of get out of it whatever you put into it. So if you can put a lot of time into it, you can grow it, and you'll get the benefits of that.
I'll definitely be thanking bees when I open my lunchbox later.
Yeah, so will I, CG. Nature is beautiful. Our next stop is taking us from bees to beans. 1,000 Faces Coffee understands that our love for coffee shouldn't come at the expense of the planet.
That's why they build lasting relationships with their coffee producers and promote composting and recycling in their cafe.
So let's find out if that daily dose of caffeine you're getting is sustainable.
Coffee is an integral part of many people's day, whether they are brewing it at home or purchasing a cup from one of the many coffee shops in Athens, Georgia. One of these coffee shops, 1,000 Faces Coffee, helps to make that daily habit sustainable. They commit to buying from the same farmers year after year and will pay more for coffee beans to support farms and know where their beans come from.
focusing on relationships. That's kind of the driving factor for what we're doing. Is we want to listen and learn from the people that we're buying coffee from.
Outside of coffee bean sourcing, 1,000 Faces looks to lessen their environmental impact in the cafe. They prioritize limiting waste and supporting composting and recycling efforts.
This is why 1,000 Faces pours its coffee in reusable mugs, and they have cups and plates for people dining in. They also have recyclable, single-use materials for to-go orders. Compost bins are available in bathrooms for paper towels and in the cafe for compostable single-use items and coffee grounds.
It's like not that hard to do like something so small that contributes to the bigger picture.
1,000 Faces goes through about 38,000 paper cups and 42,000 plastic cups every year. Those looking for their daily dose of caffeine can reduce this number by dining in or bringing their own mug.
Local B Corporation expert Nathan Stuck emphasized the need for data when quantifying sustainability and how certifications like B Corp certification hold companies accountable.
Looking for third-party data on their website, looking for like that you've actually at least taken the effort to quantify things. But to me, at the end of the day, like nowadays, it's that B Corp logo. I think that's what helps brands stand out.
1,000 Faces has room to grow here, as they don't have any data about their sustainability efforts on their website. They mainly emphasize the importance of the company's relationship with their coffee producers and taking steps to be sustainable in their cafe and roastery.
That has been like a motto ever since 1,000 Faces started, is taking care of the earth that, grows this coffee for us.
For my reporting partners Maddie Sparks and Victoria Andrew at Grady Newsource, I'm Sophie Ralph.
Now, whether you're leaving the coffee shop or finishing up a snack, it always begs the question, what are you going to do with your trash?
There have been some ideas brewing around Athens regarding the best way to get rid of waste.
Trash piles up fast, especially food waste, which makes up the largest single category of solid waste in Georgia landfills. But that food waste doesn't have to be wasted.
Think of all of the nasty leftovers that you have left to mold in your fridge. Those no longer have to go and take up space in the landfill.
Athens-Clarke County offers a food scrap collection service to take food waste off of businesses' hands and keep it out of the landfill. The service allows local businesses to participate in composting without requiring the dedicated space and effort needed to compost those food scraps.
It takes away all of the science from you. You don't have to put in the effort. You just take the organic matter and you put it in your bin.
So it's just like kind of like mindless at this point. It's very easy.
1,000 Faces Coffee uses the food scrap pickup service to compost its food waste. Coffee grounds are disposed into specific bins, then dumped into pickup bins behind the store.
It's just kind of implemented into like our day-to-day tasks.
Composting keeps 1,000 Faces food waste out of landfills.
I mean, every ounce of food scraps that is composted versus landfill, it's less methane emissions, less carbon dioxide, less overall carbon emissions impact, and it's going back into the soil.
Solid waste landfills are the third largest source of human-related methane emissions in the U.S., according to the EPA. Methane is generated in landfills when bacteria break down organic materials without oxygen. Methane is a greenhouse gas that traps heat in the Earth's atmosphere. The Solid Waste Department brings the food scraps from businesses to its commercial composting facility, where compost is managed, stored, and sold.
This space was going to be a landfill, now it's a compost facility, and look at all of the good we've done with it.
The pickup service makes composting more convenient, but it isn't perfect. The service issues fees for contaminated compost when non-compostable items like plastic are found within the food scraps. To reduce waste, the service relies on participation from businesses.
And folks are overloaded with work anyway. They don't want an additional task that they have to take care of.
Sawyer says making composting a habit can remove this burden.
If we can make it easy and clear, make the system make sense and make it effective, I think people want to do the right thing.
The food scrap pickup service makes composting more accessible to local businesses, allowing them to participate in the sustainable practice without dedicating time and resources to the composting process.
A big part of me working here was my values aligning with 1,000 Faces and how sustainable they are as a coffee shop.
For businesses with the environment in mind, food scrap pickup does all the heavy lifting. Reporting by Jason Weir and Victoria Adkins.
Now, let's shift our focus to another crucial aspect of sustainability, renewable energy.
Yeah, we're going to dive into the benefits of solar panels and electric buses, highlighting how they contribute to a greener and more environmentally friendly future. That's right, shifting from waste to watts, our journey now turns to a solar panel company illuminating a greener future.
Athens Running Company has operated on solar power since 2016, and owner Mark Schroeder feels they are finally getting a return on their investment.
Our air conditioning bill is like $800 every month, like in the summer months. And now we've never had a power bill over like $150. So like it paid for itself in, like I said, less than 6 years.
Athens Running Company installed their solar panels through the 2016 campaign of Solarize Athens, a crowdsourced initiative that reduces prices of solar panels by buying in bulk.
So we saved about 25-30% off the bat by going through the Solarize program versus just randomly calling somebody on our own.
By hiring them as their contractor, Solarize Athens spread awareness of Alternative Energy Southeast, a Georgia solar company founded by CEO Montana Bush after noticing fossil fuel pollution. Bush started his company in 2007, and improved technology, reduced costs, and tax incentives have all caused the market to grow since then. The solar investment tax credit gives customers 30% credit for installing solar panels.
At the time, there were only 2 manufacturers of solar cells in the entire world. Now there's hundreds.
But solar panels might not be feasible for properties under a lot of shade. While batteries can store solar energy for later use, Bush recommends that panels receive direct sunlight from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. each day when rays are the strongest. Businesses may also face obstacles when installing solar. Rakesh Raki Gosain, owner of the convenience store Jimbo's on Baxter Street, shows interest in alternative energy solutions through his purchase of his electric car, but has yet to consider solar for his business due to certain concerns. Working in the gasoline business, Gosain has backup generators in place for emergencies, and he questions how solar panels would operate to properly power those generators.
I don't know what the petroleum guy is going to say about solar panel. I haven't seen any petroleum companies using solar panels yet, or any gas stations using solar panels.
Despite this, solar energy still has potential to reduce carbon dioxide emissions. It takes a solar panel about 3 months to produce the amount of energy that was required to make it. As solar and renewable energy continue to face challenges, Bush advocates for the industry in political arenas like Georgia's Public Service Commission and General Assembly.
If I hadn't done that, we might be a few further steps backward than we are. So, one person can definitely make a difference.
Well, Eric, it certainly seems like one person really can make a difference just by making a change.
Yeah, and those personal changes can include simple daily switches.
One of those changes includes exploring options when it comes to commuting on campus. There's walking, biking, and scootering, but there is one option that is particularly popular.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of looking into this popular mode of transportation. Now, back in 2019, UGA made the decision to bring electric buses into its fleet. But the process isn't as simple as just swapping out the diesel buses.
Riding the bus. It's a rite of passage for students at the University of Georgia, passed down from generations of Bulldogs. But this generation gets a whole new experience. The buses they ride may not look too different, but the silence is deafening.
They're really smooth, like I said, and you can't really hear them.
These are the University of Georgia's electric buses, introduced in 2019 as a cleaner alternative to diesel buses. Justin Ellis, who works for UGA's Sustainability Department, offers an example of the benefits of going electric.
Well, so my daughter, who's 10, has asthma, and when a diesel bus drives by, she immediately knows it. And so this is a a large campus with a large student population and a large population of staff, faculty, and visitors. They're exposed to those diesel fumes.
Those fumes from diesel buses contain gases that can be harmful to breathe in, such as carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and nitrogen oxide. Electric buses, however, output zero fumes, making them much more environmentally friendly than their diesel counterparts. The benefits go beyond that. They're also economic, as electric buses are a lot cheaper to fuel than diesel buses.
It costs about, between $1 and $5 a day to charge an electric bus.
But while there's numerous benefits to going electric, it's not without its challenges.
At some point, we're going to have so many electric vehicles on this campus that we're going to have to upgrade our entire electrical grid.
John Cannon, who works for the Athens-Clarke County Transit Department, has overseen his fleet transition from diesel to hybrid. They also wish to fully convert to alternative fuels, but haven't made the switch yet due to costs.
And that's a great objective to have. I'm not opposed to that. You just need to be aware that the expenses of doing so are great.
Another challenge UGA faces has been getting everyone fully aware of the benefits of these buses. Students, for example, are a lot more concerned with arriving on time. If there's one thing that switching to electric hasn't been able to fix, it's the wait for the bus.
I mean, they're often a bit late, or sometimes there's large periods of time when there is no bus.
Even with those challenges, UGA's goal is to become fully electric in the near future. But for now, Georgia already has a large fleet of electric buses, and that rite of passage, riding the bus, is continuing to evolve. I'm Eric Tiongson with Logan Reynolds, Grady Newsource.
Energy conservation is highly talked about, but something that is brought up less often is what's in your water.
That's right, there is a crisis of prescription drugs being flushed and impacting the water supply. Now, CG, I know that you had a hand in this next story.
Yes, I did, Eric. Experts say prescription drugs may be contaminating our drinking water and damaging the environment. To address the issue, pharmacies and local governments have pioneered drop boxes to offer a safe and sustainable way to dispose of discarded meds.
Traces of opiates and antibiotics might be in that cold cup of water. It's not a conspiracy. Drugs in the drinking water is real, and the problem is growing. 3,593 million medications were dispensed in 2009. Last year, it almost doubled that number. The National Institute on Drug Abuse says when people don't use their medications, it increases the possibility of unsupervised medication misuse. So, many Americans flush their unused pharmaceuticals.
Flushing pharmaceuticals puts a high burden on the river downstream.
Athens' 3 water reclamation facilities pump 18 to 28 million gallons of water back into the Middle Oconee watershed and Cedar Creek daily. It's the primary water source for almost 130,000 Athenians.
Other than replacing all the sewers in Athens at a cost of multiple billions of dollars, the question is how can we deal with this?
Well, instead of flushing unused pharmaceuticals, people can visit drop-off sites like these. In Athens-Clarke County, there are 7 drop-off locations, including multiple pharmacies and 2 police precincts. To do your part to prevent waterway contamination, it's as simple as stopping by one of these secure medicine take-back boxes. Just open it up and toss it right in. It is recommended that you take the label off of your medication before you dispose of it.
It is for any prescription drugs that are expired, out of date. If someone passes away and you don't know what to do with all their medication, you bring it and drop it in the drop box.
The efficacy of the drug take-back boxes relies on education and awareness.
The government has only so much it can do to protect people, and there are situations beyond their control.
Future efforts to mitigate pharmaceutical contamination in our water include curbing overprescription and offering more drop-off hours and locations. And just like that, you've become part of the solution to keeping our drinking water clean. Just remember, no liquids and no sharks. I'm CG Sigmund with Blake Campbell, Lucinda Warnke, and Allison Reynolds for Grady Special Projects.
Wow, well, it looks like you're really doing your part.
It really is very easy.
Well, the community of Athens is full of solutions to environmental issues that affect us all. We hope that today we were able to highlight anyone and anything that can make a difference.
The beekeepers that put fresh produce on your table, the coffee shops that make your daily cup sustainable, and the compost service that keeps your waste out of the landfill.
Those engineers that turn that hot Georgia sun into energy, the buses that offer a cleaner commute to class.
And the drop boxes that keep our water clean.
From the smallest members of the community to the largest, there are people doing what they can to help us all live a more sustainable life.
Thank you for tuning in to A Search for Solutions. I'm CG Sigmund.
And I'm Eric Tiongson.